The woman went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to reissue her damaged marriage certificate so she could adopt a little girl from the orphanage. To her shock, the staff told her the certificate was fake. The system showed she was still unmarried. The woman was stunned. She was certain she and her husband had been married for 5 years. How could the certificate be fake? She quickly asked the staff if there had been a mistake. But after another check, the staff found that her husband was indeed listed as married, just not to her. The legal wife's name and photo belonged to another woman. Suddenly, she remembered a photo she had once seen, her husband smiling happily next to a strange woman. She'd asked if it was his ex-girlfriend, but her husband had panicked and thrown the photo into the trash. Now, she finally understood. That woman in the photo was his legal wife, the marriage she had been so proud of. It was fake all along. She went home in a daze, only to hear her husband talking to his assistant outside the door. He said the woman loved him, like her life depended on it, and even without legal status, she would never leave him, because she had cut off every path of return. The woman collapsed to the ground, stunned. Yes, 5 years ago, she had refused an arranged marriage from her parents. At the wedding, she had turned down the groom and even severed ties with her family just to chase the love she believed in. She had wanted to prove her choice was right by building a happy marriage, but from the very start, her husband had deceived her. What she had was not a real, legally protected marriage. It was all part of his calculated plan. Devastated, the woman quietly called the man from the arranged marriage her parents had once chosen. She asked if he would still be willing to marry her. On the other end, the man's voice trembled with excitement. He eagerly agreed, promising they would go to the Civil Affairs Bureau in 4 days to register their marriage, saying whoever didn't show up would be a little puppy. The woman smiled gratefully. It turned out this man, whom she once rejected, was the one who truly loved her. She stood up, but after just a few steps, her grief overwhelmed her, and she collapsed. Her husband rushed out and carried her to the couch, carefully tending to her wounds. The woman still didn't want to believe that a man so kind could betray her. She held on to one last bit of hope, so she asked him, as a test, if they could go reissue the marriage certificate tomorrow. She watched his face closely, but he replied impatiently that such things should be handled by a lawyer. Then, flustered, he quickly found an excuse to leave the house. With that, her final hope was shattered. As she sat there mourning the love she had given to the wrong man, the observatory called. They informed her that the star her husband had bought and named after her was about to fall from the sky. What a coincidence. Their marriage had begun with a star, and now it would end with one falling. The next day, the woman received a call from the orphanage. The little girl she and her husband had been planning to adopt had caught someone else's interest. They urged her to come quickly to